This week, I'm going to take you through a short, playful, animal-inspired flow. So all of our poses have their origins in animal shapes and movements. And it's a short practice to get your spine, your hips, your shoulders moving. Let's get started. For this week's flow, you don't need any props. So we're going to do a simple animal flow, mostly on the floor, on the mat, but we'll get up standing a little bit towards the end as well. We're going to start from lying down on the belly. And our first pose is called the crocodile pose. So bring yourself to lie down on your belly. And for this crocodile, bring your hands under your head. So you're resting your forehead onto your hands. And for a few breaths, let your legs relax, let your belly relax, let your chest relax onto the mat. And take a few big crocodile breaths in and out. Let the in breaths fill your chest, your ribs, your belly, your back. And exhale through the mouth. You could find a bit of ujjayi breath for those exhalations. A bit like sighing the breath out. Let's take one more big breath in and out. And then we'll leave the breath flowing in and out. Now keep your legs long behind you. Start to activate the legs, pressing the tops of the feet gently on the mat, on the floor. And very gently draw your lower belly in towards the spine. A bit like sending your sit bones towards the backs of the knees. We're going to go into cobra movement. So now, bring your arms somewhere slightly in front of you. So you have your elbows, your hands on the mat. And then as you inhale, peel your chest off the mat. Opening the chest away from the mat. And slightly pull yourself forward with your arms, kind of pulling the chest through. Next exhalation, release your chest, your head back down. We'll do same again. Inhale, peel the chest off the mat and slightly pull forward with your arms, with your hands. Keep the legs active. Press the front of the pelvis down gently. Exhale, release down. So we're getting the spine moving, activating the back side of the spine. Once more, with your in-breath, open the chest and just slightly keep drawing the lower belly in. Pull the chest forward and exhale, release the chest down, head down. And then step hands under the shoulders. Now bring yourself onto hands and knees. Tuck the toes under and lift the pelvis up into downward facing dog. So now we have a dog pose. And here you could move your feet, walk from one foot to the other. Let the heavy head drop down. You could also walk from one hand to the other, so this dog can move. Open the backs of the legs. Breathe in and out. Let the heels sink down. Even if they're not touching the floor, just let the weight of the heels sink down. And then from our downward dog, we're going to come forward either into a big cobra or upward dog. So come forward into plank. And then you can either move into upward dog, bringing tops of the feet on the mat, lowering the pelvis down, or bring knees to the mat. A bit more gentle maybe for the back, and a big cobra pose. We keep opening the chest. So it's a big back bend, a big cobra snake pose. Keep tops of the shoulders away from the ears. So you're actively lifting yourself away from the mat, pressing the arms down. Take another breath in and out here as well. It's gently, slightly pulling the chest forward. And then lift the pelvis up, tuck the toes under. We go back into downward dog, that big dog pose. Let the heavy head drop down, press the hands down and lift the pelvis up away from the hands, like someone's pulling the pelvis away from the arms, away from the hands. Breathe in and out. Head drops down. And then we're going to exhale, bring knees down to the mat. And we're going to come into a puppy pose. So from big dog, we go into the puppy pose. Now keep your hips about on top of your knees and step hands further forward. So you can visualize a puppy who wants to play. We leave the pelvis up and then drop the chest down. Now you could bring your chin on the mat. You could bring your forehead on the mat. But the intention is to release the chest down. And if keeping arms extended doesn't feel good in the shoulders, then bend the arms from the elbows and you could then bring your hands under the forehead. That might be quite nice for the shoulders, for the neck. And breathe here. So big opening for the shoulders, for the chest. It's a back bend for the spine. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly lift yourself back up onto hands and knees. And from here, we're going to go into a couple of deer poses. On the first side, bring your right knee forward, right shin forward. I'll turn a bit diagonally on the mat. And then bend your left knee behind you and sit down onto your right hip. So the right shin is in front of you, left leg is bent behind you. And first, we're going to do a side bending deer. Now we're going to reach the left hand towards the left side of the mat, towards the left side of the pelvis. And then inhale, reach the right arm up. Open the right armpit. And exhale, you might lean tiny bit further towards the left. Now the shape in the legs probably restrict this side bend a bit. So it's possibly not the biggest side bend we've done, but that's okay. It might be quite intense. So keep breathing towards that right side body. Trying to keep the right hip down. The left hip is not necessarily touching the floor. And then inhale, lift yourself back up. Keep legs as they are in that deer. And then come into forward bending deer. Now walk hands in front of that right leg. Inhale. And then exhale, round the back. Maybe lean elbows to the mat, to the floor. Or you might lean your chest, your head all the way down. Maybe walk hands further forward. And you might feel this as some kind of a stretch around the right buttock, right thigh. It's a forward bend for the spine, so you might feel it along the back. Try to soften the neck, try to soften the tops of the shoulders. And take another breath or two in and out. And then slowly bring hands on the mat. Lift your chest up. And from this deer, bring yourself onto hands and knees. So knees about under the hips, hands about under your shoulders, spread the palms. Toes could be tucked under, or you can release your toes. And we're going to do a few cat-cow movements here. Now, as you exhale, round your spine into the cat pose. And then inhale, open the chest, the cow back bend. You could look forward. Same again, exhale to round the spine, head comes down. And inhale, open the chest. You can look forward. 2 more rounds with your own breath. Exhale, press the floor away as you round the back. And inhale, open the chest, still just slightly drawing the belly in so we're not collapsing into the lower back. 1 more round. Exhale to round the back. You can bring chin towards the chest. And inhale, open the chest. Find a back bend. You can lift your tail, your cow tail up towards the ceiling. And then bring yourself back to neutral. Now we're going to go into the deer poses on the other side. So here, bring your left shin in front of you. Again, I'll turn a bit more diagonal here. So now left shin in front of you, right leg somewhere next to you or even slightly behind you. So that you can sit onto the left hip. Now lean your right hand to your right. So depending on where you are on the mat, lean the right hand towards the mat, towards the floor on your right side. Maybe it's close to the right knee. And then inhale, reach the left arm up. So you're opening the left side body. And exhale. See if you could lean maybe 1 millimeter further into the side bend. But like you can probably see, I'm not really moving much into that side bend because just opening the left armpit, the left side, creates that nice stretch on the left side. Because the legs are as they are, even just the shape of the legs might give you a side bend on the left side. You could look down to the mat on the right side if that releases the neck more. So make sure you're not tensing the neck, you're not tensing the shoulders. Take another breath in and out. And then inhale, bring yourself back up, release the left arm down, and we go into that forward bend. So keep your legs as they are. Step hands in front of the left leg. Inhale. And exhale, lean down and forward, kind of over that left shin or over that left knee. Or some people might lean over the left foot, depending on where your legs are. Again, you might lean head and chest all the way down if that feels good for you. Or you could stay on the elbows, you could stay on the hands. And breathe. Could be again, stretch for the buttocks, for the legs. Maybe you feel this along your spine. Breathe a couple more times towards the back. And then slowly lift yourself up onto your hands. And from here, once more, bring yourself onto hands and knees. And from here, we're going to move into a gecko and a dragon. On the first side, step your right foot forward, somewhere on the outside of that right hand, and start to lean your pelvis down and forward. You might even slide the left knee a bit further back. Now this might be plenty enough, staying on the hands and leaning the pelvis forward. You could open the right foot, the right hip slightly out to the side. If you want to go a bit further down, exhale, walk hands further forward, or even bring elbows onto the mat, onto the floor. so that you start to feel a bit of opening, or maybe a lot of opening around the hips, maybe inner thighs, the groin area. If you want to make this pose even more intense, you could tuck the left foot toes under and lift the left knee off the mat, if that feels that it's needed for your pose. Take another breath or two in and out. And then if you are on your elbows, lift yourself back up onto the hands. Walk right foot somewhere where you have the knee about on top of the right ankle. And then we're going to lift into a dragon. So now, inhale, lift your back, lift your arms up, open the chest. Exhale, open your dragon wings. So like cactusing the arms, open your dragon wings. And either stay here with the left knee on the mat, or again, if you want to strengthen a bit more, go a bit further, lift the left knee off the mat. Find your balance. Stay on the right foot, the left foot toes, and breathe. Breathe towards the chest. You could lean into a small back bend, maybe looking up. Take another breath or two in your dragon, wherever your dragon is. And then exhale, bring hands down to the mat. Bring your left knee down. And from here, open your right hip. So you, in a way, come back into that seated deer. But this time, bring your both legs in front of you. I'll turn towards you. And bring legs into a butterfly shape. Now you can either do a butterfly or you can do a turtle pose next. So legs in a butterfly in a diamond shape. You could start with hands around your feet if you're going into a butterfly. Or for turtle pose, bring hands under your knees, kind of reaching hands under the knees, under the shins. And then exhale, start to round your back. So if you're going for a turtle, slide your forearms, your elbows under your shins or under the knees. Bring head down to round the spine. If the turtle doesn't feel good, remember you have the option to do a butterfly. So you could keep hands around the feet. Or in a butterfly, you could walk hands in front of the legs. Maybe even reach the arms forward. But here we have opening, that kind of rotation, opening in the hips, knees turning out to the sides, spine rounding. And allow the neck, allow the head to lean down and forward. Couple more breaths in and out. Make sure this is not hurting in the hips, this is not hurting in the knees. And then a slightly bigger breath in. We start to slowly release the pose, roll the back up. Bring your hands away from under the legs if you were in that turtle pose. And from here we're going to go into our dragon, our gecko, lizard on the other side. So now we're going to step the left foot forward. So I'm turning to the other side of the mat. You can still face the front of the mat, but step your left foot forward. And we're going to start with a gecko. So bring both hands to the inside of that left foot. And you can let the left foot, left hip open a bit out to the side. Now either stay here on your hands, leaning the pelvis down slightly forward. Or again, if you want to go further, step hands a bit further forward. Or even exhale, bring elbows down to the mat. And keep breathing. And you had the option, if you want, you can tuck the right foot toes under and lift the right knee off the mat if you feel that your gecko, your lizard, needs a bigger challenge. But it's plenty enough to keep the right knee on the mat. And wherever your hands, your arms are, try to keep tops of the shoulders, try to keep neck soft. Take another breath in and out. And then if you are down on the elbows, bring hands on the mat, lift yourself up and bring your left foot to a place where your left knee can be on top of the left ankle, and we go for the dragon. So as you inhale, lift the back up, lift the arms up, and exhale, cactus the arms, so opening the dragon wings. And yes, I know dragon is not a real animal, but in this practice, our dragon is an animal as well. If you want a bigger challenge, again, tuck the right foot toes under and lift the right knee off the mat. So coming into a higher dragon. It's a bit of a balancing there going on as well. Breathe into the chest space. You can lean into a bigger back bend if you like. Find your edge where you can still breathe. One more breath in and out. And then exhale, release the hands down. And now from this dragon, we're going to bring both knees on the mat. And then we're going to lean into the ladybug pose, which is the child's pose. So keep your knees on the mat, lean the pelvis down towards the feet. And then let yourself soften the head down and forward. Here, if you want, you could do like we did in the beginning of the practice. You could bring hands under the head, like in the crocodile pose. This will be the last pose in our animal flow today, so make this a comfortable one. And if this ladybug pose, this child's pose, is not comfortable for you, you could always come back to the crocodile pose we did in the very beginning. So lying down on the belly, hands could be under the head. Wherever you feel that you can rest a moment, where you feel that you're not stressing your body, you could take a moment to focus on the breath. Let the hips soften. Let the belly soften. Let your back soften. Let the shoulders, the neck to soften. Let even your hands, fingers to soften. Give yourself a few more breaths in and out, either in child's pose or lying down on the belly. And then you can decide if you feel that you'd like to slide into Shavasana pose from where you are and take a moment to rest a bit longer at the end of the practice. Feel free to move into Shavasana pose. Or if you feel that you're ready to end the practice, then from your child's pose or from your crocodile pose, slowly bring yourself up into a seat. And that could be any easy, comfortable seat of your choice. Where do you feel you could leave the shoulders, leave the back, leave the hips soft? Where you could breathe another few times in and out. If you feel that you're ready to close the practice, then a few more breaths to let go of the practice. If it's part of your practice, you can bring palms together in front of the chest. And as always, as we arrive to the end of our practice, thank yourself. Most importantly, thank yourself for taking this time to playfully practice, to go through different animal poses. And I thank you very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you. Good. I hope you enjoyed this practice. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, you can share this video with anyone who needs a bit of yoga in their life. Thank you again for joining in, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.